Many are struggling to put food on the table. Is it immoral for politicians to get discounted meals?
Yeah, we're joined now by former Conservative MP and now member of the House of Lords himself, Ed Vaizey, who says MPs often pay for their constituents' lunch, so it is reasonable to not be charged a ludicrous amount. And we're also joined by commentator and activist Femi Oluwole, who argues anyone on an £80,000 a year salary should not have their lunch subsidised. Ed Vaizey, let's come to you first. So we made that comparison with St Thomas's Hospital. They are doctors, nurses and porters, etc. A lot of them won't be on £80,000. They'll be on far less money, yet they're paying over £1 more every day for their food. It doesn't feel right to me. Why should we be subsidising Lords and MPs?
So, look, I'm obviously on a sticky wicket here, but I'm going to do my best.
But you came in, credit to you. The first point, you've got your pads on and you're in.
Exactly. So, but the first point is, obviously, when you do a comparison like this, you just assume it's just MPs or peers who are eating these meals. There are 14,500 people who have passes to the House of Commons and the House of Lords. So it could be anyone. It could be anyone from security guards, it could be cleaners, it could be researchers, who are often obviously very young and not earning a huge amount of money. So everyone benefits in effect from this subsidy, if you want to put it that way. The second thing is there are actually some quite boring but detailed differences because the House of Commons, House of Lords employ their staff directly, whereas St Thomas's has contractors, so that may add to the costs. And also, because the House of Commons, House of Lords sit very odd hours, you know, you get sometimes people eating meals at 11 or 12 at night, and you've got staff there who are serving the meals or cooking the meals.
Doctors and nurses work all night as well, don't they?
Yeah, but that is another reason why. And also, the cost of subsidising the meals has fallen quite dramatically over the last 5 years, because this has been an issue for many years. So it's not as if the Houses of Parliament haven't responded to public concern about the subsidy.
But you'd agree that...
I suppose, though, it's the rankling, isn't it? It's how it looks and feels when you see that there have been complaints about the quality of the Chardonnay, not enough salmon, when there are people literally scraping together pennies for food bills and fuel bills as well. Well,
I was blissfully unaware, first of all, that you could complain, and B, that people did complain. And I missed this story, and I did have somebody come for coffee earlier this week and say, what's wrong with the smoked salmon at House of Lords? I had no idea what they were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, but the complaint is an abundance of smoked salmon.
Okay, anyway, I mean,
there's too much smoked salmon.
I didn't know what it was about. But the other point is also that, certainly when I was an MP, you did used to entertain your constituents, and they would come, say, for a tour of the House of Commons, you'd give them tea at the House of Commons, and you would pay for them. It'd be churlish to invite someone to come and visit the House of Commons and then say, by the way, you're going to pay for your tea.
It is a public place, it is a government building, and, you know, I can understand, I suppose, the argument with the MPs themselves, but there are lots of other people, like Ed Vaizey said, the people who are on lower incomes there, the people who come in from the outside, perhaps visiting. I mean, it does need to be a subsidised place, doesn't it?
Well, for those people that are earning less, but it doesn't have to be the same case for people who are earning £80,000 or £150,000 a year. And that is the problem. People are going through a cost of living crisis. We're seeing that news came out today that food prices are going to go up 15% in the summer, so people are going to struggle. And most people have not had pay rises. Those doctors and nurses across the river in St Thomas's Hospital, they haven't had a real terms pay rise at all, yet they're paying more for their food. And people need to be able to trust their government, and they're not seeing that because it's a constant attitude of, well, we'll give everybody the same. Even, like, for example, we heard earlier this year, a few weeks ago, that they're going to give that extra money in terms of the cost of energy prices to people who have second homes. That doesn't make sense at all.
So, look, Ed has tried very hard to do a robust defence of what, on the face of it, looks pretty grimly indefensible. And one of the points, I suppose, is that we aren't subsidising it. This is not coming out of taxpayers' money. It's coming out of an arrangement of how the profits of those individual restaurants are managed, which they've organised. And does it help those people who can't afford their food bills that others suffer?
It's not about making people suffer. It's about making sure that all the money is going into the right places. So if there are people in Parliament who don't earn as much as MPs and members of the House of Lords, you can subsidise their meals, but not subsidise the people who are earning hundreds of thousands of pounds. And if people see that attitude of, well, we'll give the same to the rich as we give to the poor in Parliament, it makes them less trusting in the country. And as far as the way governments and MPs are spending their money, we're not seeing seeing the right things from the MPs. Like, pretty much the entire Conservative Party voted to support an MP last year who was found guilty of lobbying, taking hundreds of thousands of pounds so he could direct policy in the name of his corporate sponsors. That kind of thing really damages trust, and people need to be able to trust their politicians, especially right now.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting.